So my name's Parker. What's yours?
Emily.
Emily. Nice to meet you, Emily.
You too.
My question for you is this. What has Jesus done during your life for you?
You know, Jesus has done everything for me in my life, but I don't think I realized it in a true deep way until about almost 5 years ago, 4.5 years ago. I had a pretty, I call it acceptably postable life, married with 4 kids, live in Minneapolis area. My parents are from Southern California, wonderful people, raised me with a firm foundation of faith. I never really had that super great story that, you know, I always felt kind of boring as a Christian. But I had a mom who just went through cancer a couple times and was just a humble warrior always, praying. And so she kind of set a firm foundation in my heart that I didn't realize I would need, you know, in probably the last 4 years. My oldest child is a girl, and she was a senior in college in 2019 spring. And my second child, my oldest son, Joey, was a freshman in college. And I had parents out west, like I said, a couple of siblings who were pretty busy. And my parents in their early 70s must have started struggling cognitively because their friends started calling me that year, concerned for their well-being. And my son obviously went to college with depression, and we did not know it. And he took his life spring of 2019 while in school. And that same spring, my younger brother flew my parents out, and they had no emotional, real connection to my son's loss. So they were at the funeral, they were like little kids. They both have since been diagnosed with Alzheimer's and dementia. I've moved them twice. My mom had a stroke during COVID. It's just been a very heavy road. And I've learned that, you know, God is always faithful, even when people are not. Because when it comes to grief, when it comes to suicide loss specifically, and probably any loss, in our society, it's something people would rather not face. And I don't blame them. It sucks. And so I found, you kind of have to carry a lot to the cross. You know, all of it. Because there's more and more you try and depend on a person, and it's just not. Same with Alzheimer's and dementia, you know. It just wasn't anything someone else could help you with, truly. You know, having to make difficult decisions for my parents. Neither of them remember Joey died, and they will bring him up occasionally and think he's still alive. He's just at college, and I don't want them to relive that, so I just play along with it. So it's just a heavy moment, but God's been so faithful, and I don't, since the beginning, I can't explain it. I was very sad, I was devastated, I was emotionally distraught, but this whole time I've had a peace. You know, Joey, he was raised in the church. I know, you know, he knew Jesus, and I know that he took that with him and felt like he needed to carry it himself and not reach out because of everything with my parents. And he was a great kid. He never caused us any issues. There's a lot of shame and guilt as a parent. And it's very hard because a lot of, even within the church, I think it's just hard. You know, you have to, so my goal is to advocate for young people who might be struggling. Young believers. I mean young believers and non-believers, because I think, you know, they can be saved. I know God knew my story long before it happened, and I know my foundation, and I know my mom, and I'm so blessed, you know, that I have my parents still, that they're not there the way I would remember them to be there. But their faith is there to this day. Even, you know, if they can't remember a lot of things, they both know me, and they've just been wonderful. And so I can't really explain it. It's a peace that surpasses all understanding here. And so I truly believe, that sometimes, as a child, I liked playing sports, so I had this verse, life verse, and it was Philippians 3:14. And it was, I press on toward the goal of the upper call of God in Christ Jesus. And for me, that verse was always like, oh, I gotta like press on, like I gotta keep exercising or keep practicing or keep, whatever. I applied it to my shallow life, not realizing one day that verse would have me pressing on when most people couldn't. So yeah, it's been for sure a journey. I was thinking of another verse. I wrote it down because I might have forgotten. Romans 5:3-5. How he talks about how suffering leads to endurance. Endurance leads to character, and character leads to hope. And I think hope is so important. And Jesus gives us a hope that's so beyond this broken world. And I'm broken, and we're all broken. And even though we don't feel broken, when our life is, supposed to be acceptable, we are. And tomorrow, you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. And I did not know. Joey was 19. He was a beautiful kid. And I didn't know, I was not going to see him again until heaven. So I look forward to the reunion and the hope in Jesus that he provides.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Have the rest of your day and
Thank you.
your health life.
Yeah, thank you.